Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Inside the Mirror podcast. I'm your host, Kyle David. If you didn't know, now you know. Hey, welcome back to another episode. Just me today. Today, I'm going to share a little bit of my thoughts and break down some thoughts and things around discipline and vision. I gave this talk to some of my team at work yesterday on discipline and vision. And so I enjoyed it. Hopefully it was helpful for them. And so I want to share some of my thoughts here. Discipline and vision. Discipline, self-discipline. Self-discipline, to me, I believe it's a trait. I think it's something that's learned. It's a behavior that's learned. And I think self-discipline is a choice. I don't think people are just born disciplined with self-discipline. I think it's something you choose. I think it's a trait you develop and you choose as you live. So I think discipline is I think when you're self-disciplined, you choose to do things that aren't necessarily enjoyable to achieve an outcome later in the future, right? You may or may not enjoy the act of what you're choosing to be disciplined in at the moment, and maybe you do, but a lot of times you don't, but you're choosing it for a later outcome, something down the road. So that's how I view discipline, self-discipline. I really like this quote, and I'm going to share this. Self-discipline is the bridge between goals defined and goals accomplished. I'll say that again. Self-discipline is the bridge between goals defined and goals accomplished, right? Because just having a goal, if you just have a goal, you then have to have a plan to accomplish the goal. And that gap between the goal that you've defined and when you actually accomplish it, I think that gap is filled, as this quote says, by self-discipline, right? We all have goals and dreams. Most people have goals and dreams and things they want to accomplish. But the bridge between just setting a goal and actually achieving it is going to require discipline, right? And then you also have to have vision somewhere in there, right? Like a goal or a dream usually comes from vision, right? So vision, in my mind, is incredibly important. I think vision is seeing a future that doesn't already exist, right? Like when you have a vision, you have a vision for something that doesn't already exist, right? You are creating a future in your mind and in your life that doesn't exist yet. And so that, right, when we think about discipline being the bridge between goals defined and goals accomplished, I think goals are usually associated with a vision, right? Like you have a vision and then you set goals to achieve that vision. And then you have to have discipline to execute on the goals to get to the vision, if that's all making sense. But I think vision gives you clarity and it gives you purpose in life, right? When you have a vision, you feel like you have purpose and you're headed towards something, and it gives you a lot of clarity about what you're doing in the day-to-day and just where you're headed in your life. You got to have vision. There's a saying from the Bible that says, without vision, people perish. If you don't know what you're headed to or where you're going in life, you'll perish. That doesn't mean you'll actually die, but you will have no direction in life. You'll probably experience some depression, anxiety, because if you don't have any vision or any direction in your life, you're headed nowhere, right? You're headed nowhere fast, and that's in itself pretty depressing, right? So anyways, I think vision and discipline have to coexist, right? I think you have to first have vision, and then from that vision you set goals, and then because of those goals you institute discipline and habits that you execute on to achieve the goals to get to the vision. I think of it like building a house, right? I would say the vision is the blueprint, right? Like you have this blueprint and you're like, this is what the house is going to look like when it's finished. But it's a future outcome. You don't see it yet. So you see this blueprint, right? You have kind of this overall high level plan of what it's going to look like. But then what you have to do is you have to lay the foundation and pour the concrete, right? And so you have to start building towards it. So you have to be disciplined, right? You have to be disciplined when you're building a house to show up every day and make steps towards the blueprint, towards the vision. You have to pour the concrete, and then you have to frame the house, and then you have to put up, you have to wire it with electrical and put up siding. And these are all things that you have to be disciplined in and show up and execute on to eventually achieve the vision and build the home, if you will. If your home is a vision, right? It's not something that exists yet, but you set goals, right? I'm going to pour the foundation by X date. Then I'm going to frame this house up by this date, right? Those are the goals taking you towards the vision of completing the blueprint. And you have to be disciplined to show up and execute on those things, right? And right, we have to have discipline in all kinds of different areas of our life, right? Like when it comes to our health and the food we eat and exercise, right? You can have great goals, right? You want to lose weight, or you want to gain muscle, or whatever it is with health and fitness. I always think health and fitness are good analogies, right? We all usually have some type of health or fitness or nutrition goal, but it's just a goal, right? A goal without a plan is just a dream. And you don't achieve dreams without a plan, right? You have to have a plan, right? So if you're like, right, I'm going to build this house, then the blueprint is the plan, right? Or I'm going to achieve this physical outcome. I'm going to lose weight again or gain muscle. That's a goal, but then you have to have a plan to get there. And that's where discipline comes in. Vision, set goals towards it. Then you got to have a plan and execute on it, which is discipline, right? So I would say when it comes to being disciplined, I think I think one thing that's incredibly important, and I talked about this yesterday, is sharing your vision with other people and communicating your goals to other people, and then letting them know what the disciplines are that you're going to implement to achieve those goals. And you got to share them with people so that you can be held accountable, right? Because the problem is people tend to isolate themselves, and they tend to not let other people hold them accountable. And then they're shocked when they don't have a life that they like and they haven't achieved things they want because they try to do it all on their own. And I've been there. A lot of people have been there. But you're never going to achieve the life that you actually want on your own. It's just not how it works, right? We were built for community. And there's the African proverb that says, you want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go together. And it's just true. You can't go very far in life on your own. And so if you have a vision for your life, it's going to be achieved with other people. It's not going to be achieved on your own. And I'll say this too. You have to have a disciplined life if you actually want to live anything more than an average life. Most people are going to live an average life because they don't have any discipline and they don't have any accountability. So they live an average life. And then they look back at their life and they're not happy with the life they lived because they didn't have any discipline. So they didn't actually achieve anything more than just a very normal, boring, average life. And then they didn't include anybody in it to hold them accountable. So when things got hard and they needed to be disciplined, but no one was there to hold them accountable to what they said they were going to do, they failed because there was no one there to actually challenge them and hold them accountable. Think about this, right? Like, if you want to live anything more than an average life, think about this, right? If your life right now is average or not where you want it to be, your current reality is a byproduct of the discipline you had in the past and the choices you made in the past, right? Your current reality, the life you live right now, whether you like it or not, is a byproduct and a result of the decisions you made prior in the past, right? Last year, the prior years, many years before. Those decisions and the discipline or lack of discipline you had then led to the life that you live now. So if you're not happy with your life right now, the good news is you can start to be disciplined, set goals, create daily disciplines now to create the life you want to have in the future, because your future will be a byproduct of the discipline and the decisions you make now. So if you don't like your life now, that's okay. You can create the life you want in the future by changing the things you do now, right? You have to create new disciplines in your life if you want to create a different reality. If you continue to have the same lack of discipline that you have now, then your future is going to look the same. You can't have a different future with the same actions now. It doesn't make any sense. It's not logical. Won't happen. If you don't like where your life is at, you have to change the things you do now so that your future will look different for all of us, right? So you have to have a vision, you have to have goals and a plan, and then you have to institute discipline and you have to institute accountability, right? So you want to start with the vision, you want to break it down into goals. What are the habits that will lead to these goals? And then you have to share that with other people so that you have accountability in your life and you have people that are going to help you get to where you said you want to go. Because again, if it gets hard or things happen and you're the only one holding yourself accountable, you're going to allow yourself to cheat or to fail or to not follow through on all those things because you're a human. And humans just naturally seek comfort. I seek comfort. You seek comfort. Humans are naturally inclined to seek comfort. So you have to share your goals and the things you're working towards with other people so they can help challenge you when you naturally try to seek comfort and not hold yourself accountable. Right? The most brilliant, most successful, most wealthy people on earth will tell you that they have structures and systems of accountability in place because no one got there on their own. It's arrogant and ignorant to think you're going to achieve the life that you want on your own. No one's done it. No one will do it. It's not how we were designed. It doesn't work, right? So once you've set out and set a vision in front of you, you have your goals, you know what the daily habits and disciplines you need, and you've shared those with other people. I think the one thing that's important to remember and think about is that when we set out to, conquer personal development or, do these accomplish goals and visions in life, it can almost feel overwhelming when you're like, man, I need to make like 13, 14, 15 different changes, right? I got to get up earlier. I got to go to the gym. I got to eat different. I need to find a mentor. I need to read more books. I mean, there's so many things there. You can get overwhelmed. My encouragement is to identify when you're thinking through the daily disciplines you need to have to achieve your goals, just identify the first thing that will move the needle the most or that you can accomplish the quickest. Because what you want is just, you just want to create some confidence for yourself that you can achieve some discipline and some mastery in something. So if the first thing you need to do is just be like, hey, I just need to go to bed sooner so I can be more rested and think clearly, then just make that goal or that discipline something you set in front of yourself and just do that for a minute until you've conquered that and you can gain some confidence, right? If you try to attack 13, 14, 15 different things at once and you don't do them well and then you feel like you failed, it's just too much, right? The goal here is not perfection, it's progress. If you want to be disciplined and work towards something, you just need to start making progress. You don't need to be perfect. So I would encourage you to don't overwhelm yourself trying to do too much at once. Find a few things that you can master and build confidence. And then confidence will create momentum and that'll start to compound and you'll start to move more quickly towards your goals and your vision. So, but self-discipline is so key, but you have to determine what that looks like for you, because discipline for you may look different than what discipline means for me, right? I might be at, like, right now, discipline for me looks like getting to bed on time, getting enough sleep, getting up at a certain time so I can have a good morning routine, so I can go to the gym, so I could take a cold shower, the things that the disciplines I put in place for myself, that might not be the same for you. You might be able to do way more than me. Or maybe you just need to work on getting to bed on time and eating a little better. Whatever discipline looks like for you, the danger is to compare yourself to other people, where they're at and how disciplined they are. Because there's a lot of people in the world that are highly disciplined, much more than me, much more than you, right? I can listen to Jocko and be like, man, I don't have any discipline. This guy's up at 4 a.m. and he works out like crazy and he eats perfect, right? Like, the goal is progress, not perfection, and definitely not comparison. Because you can easily shame yourself by saying, oh, I'm not good enough because I'm not as disciplined as this person, or this person. That's not helpful, right? We're all in a different place in our lives. We're all on a different journey. We're all headed in a different direction. We all have different visions and goals that we want to accomplish. Some require different types of disciplines, whether that's health or business or just personal development or relationships. Everybody's visions and goals are different. So it's going to require different disciplines. So don't get trapped in the comparison game when it comes to who's more disciplined or are you disciplined enough. That's not it, and that's not going to help you. You need to determine, again, the few things that you can do to move the needle in your life on a daily basis now, and attack those few things with vigor, and make them consistent and share them with others who can hold you accountable. But do not get trapped in the comparison game. That's not healthy for anybody, and it just makes you feel like you're not good enough, which is not true. So that's my encouragement to you. A few practical things. I think, right, whether it's healthy eating or whatever it is in your life, there's a temptation to add all the good things first. And some people may agree or disagree with this, right? Like, I need to buy all the fruits and vegetables and protein and all the healthy things and supplements. I think the first thing to do is to try to remove some of the temptations that are not good for you, right? Maybe take some of the pastries out of the cabinet and less ice cream in the fridge, and maybe throw away some pizza or don't order pizza, right? Like, remove some of the temptations that would knock you off track so you create less friction for yourself, right? Buy some fruits and vegetables or whatever you need, supplements, but also remove a lot of the things that would detour you. So it's just easier to stick to the disciplines that you're having, right? So I think before you add too much, try to maybe strip away a little bit of just the things that would get in the way or block you from achieving what you're trying to achieve. And so, yeah, I think very practically that you going back to kind of looping it all together, I think discipline is key, because again, it's the glue that's going to hold your dreams together and get you there. If you have goals and dreams but no discipline to actually execute daily on the things it's going to take to achieve those, you never get them. So you have to have discipline in your life, right? You have to be able to do things that are uncomfortable now to achieve things in the future, the vision that you have for yourself. And again, it's so important to have accountability in your life, right? We tend to mess up and screw up, but if you don't have anyone to process that with or to challenge you when you don't do what you said you were going to do, and it's just you versus you, again, good luck, right? There's no one at the pinnacle of business, personal development, in the greatest relationships, with the most money, with any of the things that most of us want to accomplish. Nobody at the top did it by themselves. Nobody, right? If you want to be in the middle of the pack or remain average, go alone, right? If you want to have success in whatever area of life you're looking for, you got to do it. You have to do it with other people. You have to include other people. It's just how we were literally designed and created to live in community with others. And that's not even from like my own spiritual worldview. That's just like scientists will tell you, right? Like people over time have had to live in communities for survival, for like actual survival. So whatever your worldview is, we just know, looking back at history and looking at how communities and people have thrived and formed, it's always done in the context of communities with others. So if you don't have that, that's okay. But you have to get uncomfortable, right? Discipline is uncomfortable, but you're doing uncomfortable things because you have a future outcome you desire, right? Happiness, fulfillment, relationships, success, whatever. those things are going to be a byproduct of you choosing to be uncomfortable and do uncomfortable things and be disciplined in the way you live your life. Not perfectly, right? Because you don't want to get caught up in the game of perfection or comparison. Not perfectly, but you got to do uncomfortable things and be disciplined in your days and your daily habits if you want to achieve the things you want to achieve. So I hope something here was helpful. I have plenty more to say, but I'm going to cut this here because I think you get the point. Discipline and vision have to coexist. Discipline is the way you get to your vision, and accountability is key in continuing to be disciplined and have others to challenge you and hold you accountable to what you said you were going to do. So that's what I got for today. Until next time, it's been another episode of Inside the Mirror podcast. I appreciate you listening. Thank you again. I'll be back soon.